do want the beanie on. It's pretty cold. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's keeping warm. It got really cold really quick. So today's episode, we're going to talk about a little bit about the company or the brand MotoEsh and who I am, and a little bit about where I come from and why I'm doing this and why Patreon and some different things like that. So let's start out with the basics. I grew up in Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, on a 140-acre farm, and my parents are Amish, so they still drive a horse and buggy. Obviously I don't. You see what I'm doing here. So when I was 18, I moved out of my parents' house, obviously living on my own, and I've always loved anything with wheels that went fast, which you might find funny, being as how I grew up Amish and all that kind of stuff. So over the years, had motorcycles, had cars, any type of vehicle, mudding, all that kind of stuff, more with vehicles and not necessarily so much with motorcycles. And then about 2 years ago, I decided, why not take this further? So I went to school, went to YTI in York, and went to a basic course, 9-month course on motorcycle technology, loved it, and thought it was really interesting, and it just furthered my passion for motorsports. So here we are. Let's see, what else? Well, I do have a full-time job, and I do this stuff on my days off. And for those of you that know this schedule, you'll know what I do for a living. So I work 24 hours at a time, and then I'm off for 72 hours at a time, all year long, 24/7, 365. So this is sort of what I do on my days off. It relaxes me, and I like to do it, and I enjoy being around other people that have the passion for motorcycles and ATVs and just motorsports in general. I like being around that culture, like being around those people. And like I said in the last video with the hair scramble, I met a lot of cool people there. I got to talk to a lot of cool people and learned a lot. So with that being said, why start Patreon and give bikes away? So Patreon is basically just a way, the easiest way for me to be able to give things away. Obviously, there's a lot of loops and all that kind of stuff you've got to jump through. And Patreon's sort of like a GoFundMe page. Obviously, it's not. I don't know if I should even compare it to that. Basically, you put in $10 or whatever you support me with, and you get chances to win whatever bike I'm building. And I make where I make the money is with how many people join on Patreon and support me on Patreon to be able to give this stuff away. And down the road, hopefully have some sponsors. And the number one thing is, I just want people to be able to get into motorsports and get into motorcycles, whether it's in the street or the dirt or ATVs or whatever the case may be, because I didn't get that chance when I was growing up. So it's kind of a way to kind of give back and try to stir up some passion with people. I've always been passionate about it and got a late start on it. So the Patreon is sort of a way for me to maybe give someone an opportunity to own something that they may not have had the chance to own without the Patreon. For example, the M109 build that we just finished, with the parts and the retail price of the bike, the bike's worth around $22,000 to $23,000 if you count in the labor and all that stuff to do everything that I did. And you could potentially own an M109 for $10. For the price of $10, you could own a $22,000 to $23,000 bike. And even if you don't like the M109, as soon as we give away the M109, we're going to start another project. One of the things I will say with the M109 is I didn't really put myself out there. I really didn't ask people what they were interested in, and so on and so forth. So I built the M109 pretty much as to, it's what I would want. I like the M109, so that's what I would build. According to my hair scramble video and the amount of views on it, whether you watch the video for 2 seconds or not, it still counts as a view. So thank you. According to the hair scramble video, instead of building the M109, I should have built something for the dirt, or ask more of the public or my patrons what they wanted me to build. So unfortunately, the M109, we've got to have enough patrons to reach our goal amount on that bike. So obviously I told you 23,000. The dollar amount on that bike is going to be right around there before we can give it away. And the way we are able to give it away is by people like you signing up on the Patreon page and pledging $10 for one chance, $20 for two, $50 for three, $100 for five, and so on and so forth. So that builds up and gets to the goal amount, and then we give the bike away. And then we're able to give the patrons the opportunity to vote on what I build and give away next. On a personal note, I'm still excited over the hair scramble and just that whole scene. I would like nothing better than to be able to build an endurance, some sort of endurance bike. The patrons would pick the brand, whether it's KTM, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Honda, or Husqvarna, whatever people vote on is what I'm going to build. So, and then obviously I would love to build my own and just get into that whole scene. And we're just going to continue this. Every time we give a bike away, we're going to start another project that the patrons vote on, whether it's something like an ATV of some sort, street motorcycle, dirt, something in the dirt, something on the street. And then once we pick what model and make of bike we're doing, then the patrons get to vote on the parts that go on it, such as the exhaust system, what brand exhaust system, maybe change up the color scheme of the bike, are we setting it up, if it's a street bike, are we, do the patrons want it set up to go to road racing, do the patrons want just a nice, clean looking bike? It's up to you guys to decide what we do. So it's a lot, and how do you know that you're going to win a bike? How do you know that I'm not just keeping the money and crazy overpricing it just to make a lot of money and things like that? Well, you don't. So you're gonna have to take my word for it. I'm sorry that if you're a new Patreon, that you can't go on the Patreon site and see that we've given away 10 bikes. I had to start somewhere. I enjoy doing it, and hopefully this will keep going in the future, but we need your help, the patrons, to be able to give bikes away so we can start on another project. And so your support is much appreciated. And I appreciate you watching this video. I know it was quick and it might have been a little all over the place, but it gives you a little bit of in-depth of who I am, where I come from, and why I'm doing this. Again, I'm no master mechanic. I can't weld to save my life. I can paint, and when I say paint, I mean spray bomb. So there's a lot of things I can't do. As far as tearing the bike down and rebuilding it, absolute confidence in doing that. There's a lot of things I can do and I'm comfortable with and I'm excited about. And if I can't do it, I have friends that can do it. So no matter whatever I give away, it's going to be in good shape. It's going to be right. It's not going to be thrown together. And after you win it, we're not going to come after you and take parts off of the bike and anything like that. You win what we're building, and to the best of our abilities. So it sounds like a scam. I don't blame you for being skeptical. I have other patrons who are successful at this, and initially I thought it was a scam, and how do we know that they're really going to give things away and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's me. Born in central Pennsylvania, parents are Amish, still drive a horse and buggy. I drove a horse and buggy for 18 years, believe it or not, and bought my first car, and it was downhill from there. Bought a 2003 Kawasaki 636 about a year after I bought my first vehicle. Absolutely loved the bike. It was a great first bike for me, and I mean, I just like motorsports, and Patreon and your support is a way for me to hopefully get other people excited about it and meet some cool people, make a lot of friends, and see what we can come up with. And obviously, I'm a little selfish too. You know, with your help, I'm giving away a bike, but at the same time, it helps me save up so that I can build my own stuff and go riding with you guys, and you know, give you guys a look at a lot of other things. So that's a little bit about me. Make sure you comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, I shouldn't say, as far as the Amish thing, I've always had a lot of questions about that. So ask questions. If I don't get back to you, you know, I might do another video explaining it in depth. And for those of you that have been around Amish people, you know a little more about me than some people. So comment on the video, get on Patreon, start supporting me. The more support I get, the quicker we can get these bikes done and give them away and start on another project, and you know, build some very cool stuff and give away some very cool stuff. So make sure you support me, like, subscribe, comment on this video, let me know what you guys think. And that's the video for this week, and I'll see you next week on Wednesday with another video. Not sure what we're gonna do yet, because the M109 build's done and I don't have room in the garage to start something else. So I'm probably just gonna be working on my own stuff, getting ready for summer. I have a couple customers' bikes that I need to get done. So always busy between this and my full-time job and trying to do YouTube, which I'm not very good at making videos. I'm still learning how to edit. Obviously, those of you that have been doing it a while, I'm sure you can see plenty of mistakes. But I appreciate you watching. Again, like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you next week.